So thank you very much for being with us tonight. Thank you to you. And this is the second event in few days hosted at Liebling Haus. And I want to thank very much Erana Insheimer for being so collaborative and so nice with us. Both events are part of the program for the Italian Design Day. And the Italian Design Day is a team-based review launched in 2017 to promote Italian design and creativity abroad through the network of the embassies, consulates, and the Italian cultural institutes. Tonight, the talk is about Italian design, and I want to thank Ron Gilad for your invaluable help, Francesca Molteni for being with us tonight, and all the other guests that are via Zoom. And thank you, Fiammetta Martegani. Fiammetta is an Italian journalist based in Tel Aviv. She will introduce them one by one. Thank you so much.
Thank you. תודה רבה לכולם, grazie a tutti per essere qua. Oops. כן, שומעים? טוב. אז תודה רבה לכולם שאתם פה. פה? פה. Okay. So, tonight we are here together to celebrate the evolution of the Italian design, which is much more than an evolution of Italian products. It's an historical journey, what we're going to cover tonight together, to Italian architecture and art, and how this influenced many other disciplines all around the world, including Israel. So in order to do that, we are delighted to be here in the Liebling House. Thank you so much for hosting us. And also, we are very delighted to have the amazing speakers that are with us here and in Italy. I'm going to introduce you very quickly to all of them, and then finally we will start our talk with Ron and Francesca. So, we have tonight with us Adele Cassina, from Cassina. She was born in Modera, near Milano, in 1939. Can we just make sure that while I'm talking, we can see the slideshow? Because we don't see it. And there are beautiful pictures that we got from Adele that we will, oh, thank you so much. And maybe if we can make this screen bigger, it will be even better. Oh, Metsuyan. So, as I say, Adele Cassina was born in Modera, near Milano, in 1939, and her father, Cesare, was one of the first Italian wood design entrepreneurs, together with his brother Umberto. This is how Adele grew up in the heart of Cassina. At the age of 24, she married Rodrigo Rodrigo, with whom she has 4 children, who entered soon in the family business. As a daughter, as a wife, and as a mother, Adele was always present in the growing process of Cassina. At the age of 52, after leaving the family business, she created a furniture publishing company with the signature Adele Alessi, which had a short but very intense life. These and many other stories about this very unique chapter of Italian design were just published in her new book, Cronache Minori delle periferie del design. Thank you, Adele, to be with us tonight. We have tonight with us also Gianluca Armento, that he has a very international CV and experience. He was born in Australia, studied in South Africa, and then graduated in Rome, with a degree in business and commerce. After joining Procter & Gamble in 1994, and working between Rome, Geneva, and Milan, in 2009, he started to work for Cassina, where he worked till 2019, since he joined Mohd. Talking about Mohd, that is going to be with us tonight, with over 50 years of experience, is one of the worldwide leading companies in luxury furniture and design. And it offered the best selection of international design and exclusive interior design service with 4 showrooms. Thank you so much, Gianluca, to be with us. And we have with us tonight also Eugenio Perazza from Magis. He was born near Venice, and after some experience working with Veneto-based company, He founded Magis in 1976 as the no-factory production company for the mass production of furniture and household accessories with a high technological profile and worldwide distribution. Magis is now appreciated for the high quality of his project and products designed by highly respected designers. Some of Magis' products are also part of the permanent collection in important museums all around the world. Not surprising, Wallpaper, one of the most important English fashion and design magazines, described Eugenio Perazza as one of the 10 persons who will change the way we live. Thank you so much, Eugenio, to be with us. And here we are with Alberto Alessi from Alessi. He was born in Arona, in Piemonte, and is the president of Alessi and the head of the marketing strategy, communication, and design management. He is the elder son of Carlo Alessi and belonged to the third generation of the Alessi family. He officially joined the company in 1970, the day after he graduated in law. He initially was in charge of the commercial area, the development of new products and communication. Since 1970, he started collaborating with architects and designers from all over the world, working with key names in the field of international design. Alberto Alessi has written several books, including Not Production, Next to Production, and The Dream Factory. In 2011, he curated the fourth edition of the Triennale Design Museum in Milan, entitled The Dreams Factory, People, Idea, and Paradox of Italian Design Factories. During his career, he has contributed articles for many international magazines and publications, and is a visiting professor of several design colleagues. And finally, we are with our guests that are with us tonight in Tel Aviv. So Francesca Molteni is the founder of Mohd Factory of Project. She graduated in philosophy at the University of Milano, and she studied film production in New York University. Since 2002, she produces and directs documentaries, video installation, and curates design exhibition. In 2009, she founded Mohd Factory Production, a production company based in Milano, particularly focusing on contemporary design and art and architecture culture. She's also writing for the most important Italian design paper, like Vogue, Vogue Casa, AD, El Decor, and is the author of the book Oggetti and Impresa. And even if she hid it, as we can tell from her family name, she belonged to the Molteni family, one of the first families starting this business in Italy in 1934. Actually, Angelo and Giuseppina were Francesca's grandparents, and Carlo, which is Francesca's father, is still leading this amazing company. So we hope that Francesca will share with us also some story of her amazing family. And last but not least, I really want to say thank to Ron, because if we are here tonight, if all those amazing people are tonight with us, is all because of Ron. Probably you already know Ron Gilad. Just let me tell a few words and then we can start with the talk. So Ron Gilad was born in Tel Aviv in 1972, and in 2001 moved to New York, running there his studio for 12 years. Currently, he lives and works between Tel Aviv and Milan, where he's also teaching at the university, the Politecnico University of Milan. Ron hybrids objects combine material with aesthetic play. They sit on the fat, delicious line between the abstract and the functional. His works deal with the relationship between the object and its function, questioning our perception, varying from one-off to limited edition and production pieces. The work have no expiration date and reside in both public and private collection worldwide. Ron asks and she's in question in a 3D form and fabricates answers that create an arena for fertile doubts. Metaphorically, Ron is a linguist, creating his own language. He learns the origin of words and develops synonyms. In 2013, he was named Designer of the Year both by Wallpaper and El Decor. His design for the Italian industry won numerous awards as well. Fun fact, after all these years in Italy, still doesn't speak Italian. And this is why we love him so much. However, I spoke too much. I'm so glad that you are here, so I give the word to Francesca that is going to conduct this panel. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you for being here. First of all, it's a pleasure to share the Italian Design Day here in Tel Aviv. Thank you for the Liebling Haus, of course, for having us. And especially to our guests connected on Zoom. I hope we can see them soon. It's really difficult, I have to say, and this is just because of round difficulties, to have people from Italy connected, such a people from Italy connected with us. So it's a pleasure, and it's somehow Ron's fault also to have us here. Eccoli, eccoli. Here you are. Thank you all for being here. I have to start saying sorry if the conversation would be not so easily, let's say, run from here technical issues. Thank you for, but if the conversation will not be so fluent as we would like to be, being all together sitting at the same table, but we will try to make it a dialogue as much as we can. The story of Italian design is impossible to be, let's say, reassumed into few words. So what we can share today with our audience here and with you is your experience in contemporary design, which is a little bit different from the history and from the past, is what's going on now. And I would like to start with Adele Cassina, of course. You were already well introduced, and thanks to Chiara for being with us as well. To start with, let's say, the family business, which is a very particular Italian model, which is very actual today as well, and it was one of the stones on which Italian design all over the world started. Having Ron with us, of course, it's an important part of the job, because designers are and were in the past the counterpart of the entrepreneurs, of the industrialists, of the curators, as you are, because you are not just, let's say, part of a company, or you were not just part of the company, you were making choices with designers like Ron. So, Adele, if you would like to start telling us a little bit what is the Italian family business.
So you want to say something, Mom?
Pardon?
Puoi dire che parlo direttamente io?
Yes, it's better that Chiara, my alter ego, my secretary, my daughter, everything, and you will understand better if I don't speak English. So please, Chiara.
Okay, so
To Adele, but as you pretend not to speak English, Ron pretends not to speak Italian. So you are pair. You are the
No. Go on.
yeah, that's why they understood each other, the two pretenders. That's really okay. So I'm gonna take over.
C'è già un errore.
Yes, I'm gonna pretend to be Adele. She noticed, I noticed that too, but she noticed that in the flyer there is something that we should have corrected, but we did not, because Adele Cassina in the invite still has Cassina in brackets. And the reality is that, well, I think we didn't correct that because Cassina is her identity in a way. But as a disclaimer, the official one, Adele Cassina, is no longer part of Cassina.
And I am here not for furniture, not for design, but as a writer.
Exactly. So, like, to get to your question, Francesca, so we thought a little bit about that, what it means to be part of a family business when it is about furniture. So I'm gonna pretend I'm Adele. So I'm gonna say, for me, being part of the business meant to live an intense and conflictual relationship with my father, and to be profoundly shaped by that in my professional life too. I came to adulthood in the early 60s, and think about the cultural humus of the time. Till 1968, patriarchal culture was dominating. And I understood only late, very late, after my father's death, how he wanted me to be an independent and emancipated woman. However, communication between us was made of silence, avoidance of dialogue and sharing, and the outcome of his intentions was fully different. So fear and obedience to my dad were there, but deep down we were also connected by great affinity of thought, heart, and reciprocal love. So from this experience of solitude and detachment from my father, for longing of a communication that never took shape in our life together, I ended up embracing form is substance as the cornerstone of my way of being an entrepreneur. So going back to your question, so what are the good and the bad things of design business being a family business in Italy? Is that the good things are that you can rely on a special knowledge and wisdom, something that you suck in the cradle and you grow up with as it were normal and obvious. It just becomes part of you. For instance, despite the silences and avoidances, despite I was never formally taught or trained for a role in the company, from my father, I learned a couple of things that are at the very core of Italian design and manufacturing culture. Number one, cuique suum, as the Latin would say, which translated into my father's dialect was, I give it to you.
Ognuno vuole il suo mestiere.
Okay, which in English is every man has his own trade. That is total respect of competencies. Never take the place of the architect or designer, but act up to the role of the entrepreneur in interpreting and realizing the author's idea at its best. Lesson number two, which my father did in his job, which was making furniture. As in nature, you do not proceed by leaps, by big jumps, but rather in a harmonic development. It is key to invest being fully connected to the present, being open to the future, and anticipating it with measured steps. Now we would say, we call it proceeding, creating the trend. So, and just because she's here, the writer, and so she is really saying, kind of bringing some of what she wrote in the book. I'm gonna go on talking about her father. So my father must have had his own answer to the question. And if you don't mind, I will give an interpretation of it, since his relationship to the Bottega di Famiglia, the family workshop that the Cassinas had had for centuries, ended up being a place where many iconic pieces of design were born. Being part of a family business that built cruise ships interiors prior to World War II, it was for him, the opportunity to connect with great Milanese architects as early as the late 40s, in particular Gio Ponti, with whom he developed the Superleggera chair, for instance, or Ico Parisi, who set up for the first Cassina factory showroom, is the image of the invite to this talk. My father was not the manager of the company. He was rather the talent scout, the one who shaped Cassina's identity through his ability to connect with many and diverse designers, Gianfranco Fertini, Vico Magistetti, Mario Bellini, Gaetano Pesce, to name just a few. Equally, having the opportunity to rely on the know-how developed over centuries made projects such as the Cassina I Maestri collection possible, which brought furniture of Le Corbusier, Charles Radley McIntosh, Gary Thomas Rietveld, Frank Lloyd Wright, and later others, to be known and used by a large audience. If the family business provided my father the freedom to do things, it was also a border that limited his individual freedom, that of a man who did not identify 100%, but who does, with his family. Hence, his drive for the development of something else. For instance, the joint venture with Gavina and Mr. Gandini that, from the first collaboration with the Castiglioni brothers, brought Floss to be a leading lighting design company. And in a much more radical statement of independence, CEB, the soft furniture company he created with Piero Busnelli. The experiment was as successful as painful. The company was clearly a competitor of Cassina, and my father resolved the paradox that he had generated by leaving everything to Piero, hence the name change, B&B. So that's just a couple of reflections about what it means to be in a family and in a company and making design. And of course, it would be something also about what she did with her own, for instance, and other designers and artists in her own company. But maybe if there would be time for that, she can talk a little bit about that later.
Of course. We can talk a little bit about Ron, so he will feel uncomfortable. Please.
No. Okay. No.
Vai, Ron.
No, ciao Adele.
Ciao, Ron. Come sei bello.
No, I think that, I mean, grazie.
A beautiful guy, first of all.
And he does speak Italian.
Okay.
Clearly, I think that when we are speaking about Italian design, so to give some kind of a background and to speak about the important columns that are holding this whole empire in a certain way is maybe first about giving some kind of a reference or overview about the past. But I think that, Adele, I'm not sure that you are here just in order to speak about your father and about the journey of being in the shadow of one of these columns, because in a certain way you managed to escape from this shadow and become a rebellious, in a certain way, an independent lady that moved from a place of being under someone into a company owner, let's say that into an editor of design that has her own say, her own approach into design. And I think that at that point, I mean, having Adele Chi, opening Adele Chi, and there are so many stories which are so interesting, and I don't think that we can really enter into it. But for instance, choosing even the name of the company and the logo of the company, and it was you insisted not to use the word Cassina, and if you're looking at the logo of Adele Chi, so there is some kind of a line, a very long line between Adele and Chi, in order to show how you differentiate yourself from the past and enter into the present times. And I think that having a person like Adele, that, you know, maybe the company didn't proved itself to be financial successful, it still contains so many values because of your open-mindedness as a curator of contemporary design. And again, maybe, I mean, I'm just one example of many others designers that you're working with, that you were as courageous as your father to give quite a vast freedom to the people that you were working with in order to let's say, create their own statements under the umbrella of Adele Chi. So I think that for me, I mean, the past is the past in a certain way, but the past is also what we built on the presence. And I think that for me, and again, not knowing your father personally, just historically, I mean, just the boring parts, the collaboration with you, just like with Gianluca Armento, and of course with Signor Perazza, and in a certain way also with Alberto Alessi, that I'm so jealous that he's smoking over there, and I'm desperate. I'm desperate also for a cigarette, and I'm trying to be polite and not to light one here in a closed room. Is also a very important value that is taking the idea of being inspired from the older generation and the family, but also allowing yourself the freedom to fly and to be completely independent and extremely experimental in your approach in Adele Chi.
That's why now she's a writer also.
Yes.
Vero, Adele? Va bene, we will go. If you want to think about something bad to say about Ron, the microphone is open, so feel free. And then we pass.
Cattiva su Ron, vuoi dire
No,
qualcosa adesso?
è il fiore della Adele Chi, è il meglio della
No,
Adele Chi.
we are not getting anything bad from her. She's even saying that Ron is the flower of Adele Chi.
Anche se il mio è stato un amabile successo, è valso la pena di farlo per avere lui anche.
So since Ron did say that Adele Chi was not a financial success, we called Adele Chi actually an amiable in success. But the presence of, she says Ron, I say Ron and a couple of other people, just to be, at least I can be nasty to him, but no, she's saying really that having had the possibility to work with Ron and really to develop, Ron says, the freedom and really to be able to produce things that come from such free ideas was worth the insuccess, was worth the pain of whatever, being, creating a company. So she's really, I think that really the collaboration with Ron made her fulfilled Adele in her Adele Chi journey. And that is something, you know, that is very profound for a design entrepreneur. I think that at the end, that is kind of the one thing that makes it all mean what it means.
Thank you. Grazie, Chiara and Adele. We hope we will have time to get back with the second question. Thank you so much. Just to share the same, let's say, idea. In my own life, I'm trying not to be Moltenian C, because I'm not actually. And on the same flyer, there is Moltenian C. So we share. We can share also this polite, let's say, distance from the family. Gianluca Armento, we are happy you're here with us. Thank you very much. I think that you can add some interesting points to our conversation, being crossing the ocean of the Italian design brands with a very particular point of view. Managing, first of all, with Cassina, such a stone, again, such an icon of Italian design, and then moving to the online business with Mohd, which is a completely new adventure for Italian design that was always very global, but in a physical way. So all the companies were saying it's impossible to sell design online. Gianluca.
Exactly. Ciao, Erev Tov, hello from Milano. Good to be with you. Just one disclaimer, is the audio good?
Yep.
Okay.
We can hear you very well.
I'm here, I mean, Okay, very good. I'm here as, I feel a bit out of place because I'm here as a friend of Ron's. So what I will say is that whatever I've learned as a vehicle that was able to pass through, very luckily, through some important companies and fantastic places in the Italian design world, and it's still happening. So I will share with you more than giving lessons or providing material for notes. I will just say that it's been my learning process, and I will just share with you a few things of what I've learned, because I've been blessed with being able to see this from the inside in very privileged positions. And so I'm still learning. I wasn't born into design. I have a commerce degree. I didn't know much about architecture. I've had to learn very fast, very quickly in Cassina, and hi to Adele. So what I've learned, though, the first thing I've always put into practice is that everything needs to be put together in a loop. And so that's the process which is extremely important, connecting things in layers and then sending back and receiving them and bringing them towards the future. And Cassina was 9 years, a long time, but in the end, there's very few episodes which change your life. And one of the comments I got in this world of Italian design, which is very different to what it was in the 50s and 60s and 70s, was that I was talking on Israeli terms. At one of the fancy evenings I was at, had the pleasure of meeting for the first time, and then not again, Ron Arad. And we said, hello. So, what he says, what do you do? He says, I work in Cassina. Cassina, Cassina. And he listened to me, he was very kind. And then at a certain point, he said, you know what I miss? When I was studying, Cassina was the revolution. So, and I had been already 5 years in Cassina. And of course, I thought, okay, I know, but are we still doing it? And that is one of the most important lessons, which has made me stronger, in the sense that you have to be part of your own, at least the way I am, of your own revolution. And you need to be building on things you have done to make chapters and not just volume. And that is an area where Italian design has been able to do fantastic things, but maybe currently is doing less so. So I've been also part of a process which has been, let's say it's always been a gentrified business. So it's always been something for the cultural elite and the economic upper strata, most of the time. But it has to bring back, I think, what's really missing today is that there's no technological link to the way the mold is being broken. And for sure, the Centro Ricerca in Cassina was not what it was. The whole spirit of that was not present anymore. You can see all the companies now doing similar things. And that is one of the things I looked at ahead. How do you become part of things which you're proud to say are changing the shape of a design? And so I'm very happy to do what I'm doing now, as a process of what happened in Cassina. So what's currently, as you rightly said, there is something people do not know very much, is that design online is probably the fastest growing segment, one of the fastest growing segments in the online business globally, because with the pandemic, but before so, people are going online. They're wanting to buy things they know. They're not necessarily discovering them, but it's part of an appreciative process, which is then ends up online. And there will be, in a few years, very big companies that will be looking back and saying, we have created a future which nobody knew about. And it's not starting today. Italian retail of furniture has been the best in the world because of the brands it was selling, but it also made those brands the businesses they are. And because of the savoir-faire, so one of the things Dino Gavina and Cesare Cassina knew is that you have to have wonderful showrooms, which are a complete project, which isn't just a space for furniture, but it's a space which also is a humanist area, a temple for appreciating the cultural progress and the beauty of things, which has to involve the best architects, the best interior decorators to make it something which the whole world will watch. And that was a key part of Italian design, retailing, and now it's moving online. And for sure, I would like to see an Italian company becoming one of the global leaders of this. So that is why it's a space to watch, and that is what I'm trying to do today, helping the Gianluca Mollura, who I got to know when I was working in Cassina, of delivering and humbly growing an online global player in something which is still a well-kept secret.
Ron, please.
No, I want, Gianluca, I think that just in order to answer to Adele, that is presenting herself as a writer, so maybe you should start by presenting yourself actually as a painter. Because you are one, I'm just reminding you that you owe me a portrait, which I bought the canvas for.
So this is, but yes, people have to know. I think it's still there, right?
Yeah, the canvas is still waiting for you in Via Palermo. That's true.
So Ron has gone overscale. He likes to do miniature, but he then goes into maximalist things as well. There is a 2 meter by, I think, 1.80 meter white canvas in Via Palermo, hidden in Via Palermo, which has been there for 2 years. So we'll see. When you come back, we'll now that it's nice, it's going to get nice and sunny. We'll talk about it. But what did you want me to talk about? Painting? Not seriously, not.
No. I wanted to say that you can also afford yourself not to speak about yourself just as a, business-oriented person. Of course, that as a brand manager for Cassina for so many years, so you were in charge also on the business part of it. But again, just like with Adele, you were also the curator, and you were actually, when you are saying that you are here as because of our friendship, but our friendship was born out of the fact that we were working together for so many years, and we were fighting one with another for so many years. So I think that there is also an aspect, and this is maybe speaking a little bit about the values of Italian design, is also working with Italians, because Italian design maybe started in Italy, okay, but it's based on a collaboration between 2 entities. One entity is the 4 of you, the industrialists, let's call it, but I think that you are curators, you are not just producers in a certain way. And the second member in this dialogue is actually the designer, the creative person. And I think that what's so nice about it is that you always allowed a certain openness to the foreigners, to different approaches than yours, in order to create Italian design so diverse. I mean, in a certain way, I'm not Italian. I didn't grow up on Italian designs. I was, in a stupid apartment in Tel Aviv, which was quite empty by itself. But I think that my approach as an artist over the years, actually learning from you, and your openness to explore new perspectives from outside eyes is what makes Italian design in a certain way so vivid and so rich in a certain way. So speaking about you, Gianluca, also as a painter, or even speaking about Signor Perazza as a wine producer, for me is something that is related to the personal value and the fact that somehow with all of you guys, and I'm not the only one, I assume that all the designers that you are working with, you manage also to form relationship which is based on friendship and based on trust. It was not always, you know, business relationship per se, and I think that this is what makes the whole thing, again, as I said, vivid.
But Ron, yeah, you know, there's that phrase, from the history of things comes the shape of time. So you can only shape time in a new form if you really understand the history of things. And that's also about, history is also about sediments of people and understanding the layers of people. So what I think happens in Italian design companies when they are able to shape time is that they have understood the history of what's happening and who they're talking to best express the output. You know, so I think because Italy has, what we're doing today is a huge respect of knowledge. It's a humanistic approach. It's a respect of knowledge of what's happened before you, and listening to the environment, listening to the designers, absorbing them, and then shaping, giving a shape to that which is new. And that's exactly, it's with people as well. So if you're not able to understand the layers of a person, you're not able to allow that person to produce a new shape.
Esatto.
Bene, Ron. So you mentioned Mr. Perazza. Signor Perazza, buonasera. Siamo felici. Thank you for being here with us. It's really a pleasure because you don't show off so frequently, not even the others, but let's say it's a privilege to share this online hour with you. You are very well known, and Magis is very well known for taking many risks, meaning that all your projects is a singular project, is a special project, with new designers, with designers well known, not so well known, with Gilad as well, with people that, let's say, are risking with you, with designers that are risking with you, on, let's say, some zones areas where they're not so familiar with. So can you tell a little bit what is the fil rouge of the Magis collections, starting from this diversity?
Good. Good afternoon to everybody. A special ciao to Ron, without a cigarette for a couple of hours. Okay. Magis and its relationship with Israel, with Ron Gilad, who is designing some beautiful thing for Magis, with Ron Arad, who designed nice project for Magis in the past, with Gili Kuchik and Ran Amitai, two young and talented designers, with whom we developed the challenging project of a magnesium chair, which unfortunately we did not manage to launch for technical reasons. The chair should have been manufactured in Israel, as in Italy we did not have the technical know-how necessary for its production. And a relationship with the Tolmans, distributing Magis product in Israel for many years. I found Magis in 1976, and I immediately bet on design, even thought at that time the concept of design was weak and hesitating. And this especially in the Veneto region, but I was very convinced that design could be a great value for a company. Magis is a Latin word that means more than. Since our beginning, we have tried to put this extra something into our products. And we have always felt our name to be a positive challenge, forcing us to live up to it. Magis does not work steel, plastics, wood, aluminium, etc., etc. Our manufacturing partner do, while we work with ideas. We are a factory of artists, and all of us are artists when using courage, intuition, and creativity to challenge the status quo, even going toward an unknown direction. What's a problem in a naive way? But this doesn't not mean we face them in a wrong way, but with an open mind and a critical spirit, as we are curious, brave, not afraid of making mistakes. We act as we do, as we believe this is the right thing to do, and not because someone is asking us to behave in this way. We travel along unknown paths, far from the mainstream design. Magis pursue made in Italy, and this means that we conceive and develop the design project in a specific Italian way. And here is some of the many Magis way, the attention toward the Italian artisanal work. As Italian artisans know how to apply the well-done lesson, and a reworking of the design project with a main industrial manufacturing future, and at the same time a small part of artisanal manufacturing. This way of conceiving the design project allows the artisanal manufacturing to become the aesthetical and overall dominant feature of the project itself, and therefore to achieve a difference. Is nowadays a company kept in a great respect in the international design community. But we did not easily reach this company reputation. We achieved it after a long and hard work. And often I ask myself, where company reputation come from? And the only answer I found is the following. Maybe this derives from the fact that Magis, since its beginnings, has always been faithful to what it aimed to become. That is a company committed to innovation, to research, to experimentation of a new material, technologies, and the languages, developing in its history a collection of high-quality design products with a strong and distinctive identity, unique and universal, and proving in many cases to be a first mover. And to be first mover means to be able to discover an innovative solution which is not only able to solve the single problem, but to add a new knowledge to the whole discipline. That's Magis. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Ron, please.
No, you know, I think that specifically speaking about my relationship with Magis and of course with Signor Perazza, that we speak once a week on Zoom, or when I'm in Italy, we meet quite often, I have to say. So our relationship started about 5 years ago. And you know, when you're speaking about design, so in order to give birth to the baby, the final result, you always need a mother and a father. And I think that the relationship with Magis, well, it's not specifically just with me, but I'm speaking about my personal experience, is that we enjoy having sex. And it's 5 years that we are having sex, and most of the time, babies doesn't born in a certain way, for one reason or another. But the joy of experimenting, and I think, again, the open-mindedness, and I mean, this is Signor Perazza specifically, but I think that, you know, also with Gianluca and with Adele, over the years, we are trying so much. But I think that part of it is also the passion of being and trying and experimenting, even without putting the goal at the end in just having more and more and more babies. I'm not, you know, speaking about my products in general with the design industry in Italy, none of them are best sellers. I'm not bringing money to these companies. I'm trying to satisfy my personal needs to utilize this passion towards Italy, and yes, I mean, to have as much sex as possible in a certain way, and there are great partners to it. And, you know, speaking also about this relationship, so clearly, I mean, it sounds like everything is just made of roses. But it's a love and hate relationship. I mean, there are so many also frustration from failures, because you put so much energy and you put so much passion and time into developing something, considering that at the end, for one reason or another, it fails and it doesn't arrive to the point where you guys can actually enjoy the end result. Luckily, you know, personally, I don't care about it. You know, I'm working with all of you guys and with few others because I really enjoy it, and I enjoyed the road. And I enjoyed the ride much more than having more products in the market and becoming financially successful in a certain way. And in a certain way, I also found my personal system in it, which is based on the fact that I work alone. I don't have any more studio with employees and people and salaries and all these kind of things, just in order to reduce my expenses to zero, in order to allow myself to keep playing with you guys.
Thank you, Ron. Speaking about sex a lot tonight. For the ladies here, Adele, I don't know if you agree, but anyhow, we go straight to Alberto Alessi. Alessi, who will for sure enjoy speaking with us. Thank you for being here this evening. It's very difficult to talk about Alberto Alessi because he has many hats. The factory, of course, the company, the brand, the talking about design, meaning that I think that he was probably the only, I can say, entrepreneur, the only industrialist curator, as Ron said today, who was able really to design a narrative of design with the factories of Italian design, with a lot of writings, concepts, and ideas that were not related just to Alessi, just to his own brand. So I would be happy to ask you and to share with our friends here a little bit of this new layer that you added. And then we have a short story about you and Ron that you don't know.
I don't know also.
Yes.
Short story. What is that? Well, listen, I would start from the last point of Ron Gilad, which is related to the big question: what makes the main characteristic of Italian design factories? I do believe that the main characteristic of a design factory is to be a kind of a research lab, usually an industrial research lab, into the area of creativity and of applied arts and of design. What does it mean? It means that our real job is to be a kind of mediator. That's my interpretation. We mediate endlessly between, on one hand, the best expression, if possible, of design worldwide, and on the other hand, we try to mediate that kind of creativity. We try to mediate that with the final customer's needs, or better to say, final customer dreams. I insist on this characteristic on being a mediator, because this is the real reason why if, for example, one is looking for the best expression of French design or British design, one is very frequently obliged to go back to the catalogs of Italian design factories. Why is that happening? It is, in my interpretation, precisely because we are mediators between the expression of creativity worldwide today and the market on the other way. If you look to the history of Italian design, until, I may say, until all 70s, Italian design was mainly characterized by two elements. One, to be produced in Italy, manufactured in Italy, and two, to be designed by Italian designers. Then, 10 years after, in the 80s, the situation was completely different, because at least half of Italian new designs were not anymore made by Italian designers, but not designed by Italian designers, but they were designed by foreign designers. Why did it happen? I do believe this happened just rightly because of our characteristic of mediators. Probably I'm going too far, saying that it is something like an heritage of the Italian Renaissance workshops. But I believe not to be too far, because this is a real characteristic that is deep in Italian nature, to be so close to the artistic sensibility. Well, I could continue for long on this matter, but I don't want to bore you. But I'm curious to listen to this story. What's that story?
I don't know. He told me yesterday morning in front of a coffee that during the university you were designing a piece, an Alessi piece. He didn't know exactly, but maybe, I don't know why it was in his mind, Alessi.
No, I have to say, Alberto, and I'm not sure that when we met for the first time, like 5 years ago, I mentioned this story or not, but I think that, again, speaking about sex and relationships, I think that my first, how do you call it, like Avat Neurim, can someone translate it for me?
Childhood sweetheart? No. Love.
Youth love. My first youth love, actually, when it comes to primo amore. Absolutamente. Yeah, exactly. My primo amore to the Italian industry was actually with Alessi, if we're thinking about it, and it was way back. I mean, it's even not in college. It was in high school. I mean, I study architecture in high school, and my first meeting with Italian design in general was we were supposed to collect some kind of material about actually architectural details, and to create this stupid collage and hang on the wall. and all the students were showing different varieties of windows and doors and handles and columns and floors, etc., etc. And one of the students, Dana Weber, I cannot forget it because it's part of the story, created a collage of furniture of Memphis and Studio 65 as architectural details. This is mid-80s. I mean, while Memphis were still, you know, up and running before they completely detached themselves from reality. And this was my first meeting with Italian design. And when I was seeing all these pieces, and I told myself, are these sofas? I mean, I grew up with a simple, you know, 3-seater sofa covered in white fabric, and suddenly I see the works of Mendini, of De Lucchi, of Sotsas, of course, and this shook completely my perception about what functional daily object is. And that's how it started. And then I asked her, but where did it come from? What does it mean? And she said, oh, there is this showroom in the city square. It's called Kikar Amdina, if you know, called Stolmans, that are importing all these Italian brands. So if you are very curious about it, you have to go there. And I went there, again, mid-80s, a relatively small showroom at a certain point, but very, very well curated catalyst of Italian design. And the first pieces that were in the window were actually Alessi pieces, starting from Aldo Rossi, and then it was maybe, I'm not sure, maybe the beginnings of the Giovannoni and the Stark ones, etc., etc. And again, that was completely helping me to understand that everything that I know and that I grew up with about how a functional object should look or should function completely flipped my perception about it. And this is also thanks to your openness to work with foreign designers and to take these, in my opinion, major risks in producing these impossible shapes industrially in a certain way, and very uncommon approach to what function is and what function should look like. So it was, you know, if you call it a story, and again, a love story, so it was me towards you while you never knew about me. When that was the point actually when I said architecture is not for me. I want to work on a smaller scale, on an intimate scale, of products, and right away I graduated, and I registered to Bezalel, to the industrial design product and department, and the first project we had to do radio machines. And you know, I don't know if you know, but the approach in the academies in Israel to design, and since we don't have a design industry, a real design industry here, is that you can dream, you can do whatever you want. There are no clients, there are no limits of production. It's not about costs. You don't need to please anyone besides yourself in a certain way. And that's actually what formed me in a certain way as a dreamer who is throwing at you guys my crazy ideas, hoping that you will catch it and you will develop it. And luckily, I mean, I was lucky to have this appreciation from you. And I said, no, I'm not going to design just a radio, random radio. I want to have a real client. And at that point, if I'm not mistaken, there was this retrospective of Alessi at the Tel Aviv Museum of Modern Art, which was also influenced me in a certain way. And I said, well, I'm randomly going to choose Alessi as my client. And I told my students, my professors, that I'm going to design radios for Alessi. And they told me, are you an idiot? Alessi are doing unplugged utensils for the kitchen. They are making pots, they are making cutlery. But to make something with electricity to Alessi doesn't make any sense. They will never do it in their life. And I said, I don't think so. You know, my mother is cooking in the kitchen, and she always listened to the radio. And considering that the natural territory at that time of Alessi was in the kitchen, why they shouldn't design also something on batteries or something that is plugged into the wall? And at that point, they said, okay, well, if you want to, of course, you can do whatever you want. And practically, I was maybe before you guys, and I don't want to sound too pretentious, before you guys were thinking about adding electricity into your catalog, I was already doing it like 20 and something more years ago.
I've never seen this radio.
Oh well, no! You will not speak to me if you will see it. Forget it. I'm not going to show you.
He was a dreamer. He was a dreamer.
What you are saying sounds like an invitation to do some sex together. Listen, I'm working since 52 years, so I'm a bit tired, but there is always time to enjoy a little bit.
At least sharing a cigarette together.
Thank you so much. So I have just one little story to add, so we pass maybe to questions from the public, if we have from the audience. I met Ron some years ago for Molteni this time, not as, of course, a part of the company, but I was there to film an interview. It was the first time that we were working together. Me and Ron didn't meet before. He met my sister in New York in an elevator, and somehow something happened. I don't want to know what exactly now, but something happened between Ron and my sister Giulia. So he arrived in Brianza, and first of all, I was surprised by the time that he spent understanding the company. Meaning, I would like to know everything, every single piece of the production, every single wood that you use, every single piece of your history. And I was surprised. I met many designers, interviewing them, architects as well, because this kind of, again, dedication and intention to understand before throwing your ball to the other side is something very unique, I think. But then I was there for the interview. I arrived, he was already there. He arrived before to have some discussion, researches, fighting, I don't know. And the idea was to shoot the interview outside the museum that you have seen in the pictures, which at the time was not a museum, was a kind of showroom to shoot pictures for the catalogs and whatever. And at the time, the white cube, the white glass, was full of new products, prototypes that Ron was preparing. So I arrived there with my camera operator, and he was sitting outside. He had already done the setup for the interview with the furniture outside the glass cube. And I look at him, and we started with a fight. And I said, sorry, Ron, we have to think about the light. I mean, here it's too shadowed, it's too dark for the interview. Let's go in, let's discuss, let's start another conversation about the interview and the filming. And he said, no, I think this is the right place to do the interview. And I said, yes, but you are the designer and I'm the director. By now, for these 5 minutes, I don't know in the future, but... And we found a way in between, let's say, to match the two personalities and the two, but the fact that he was doing my job made me feel a little bit crazy, let's say, for a while. And then we became good friends, and I started to appreciate his values, the bad and the good ones. So I'm very happy we are still here today in a kind of friendship. Thank you. Bene, do you want, Adele or Gianluca Armento, Signor Perazza, would you like to add a few words, or we pass to the question here? Adele, maybe would. No, it's fine. Okay. So, Gianluca, Signor Perazza, I think you are all ready to listen if there are any questions. Nothing? Or maybe we can. Rona has a question?
No.
But I think we had a very, very special conversation and very interesting. We can go on forever. But if... There is any question from the public? No? I asked. If not, I think we can thank you and Ron for... I know it's a big effort for everybody to be far and close at the same time.
Yeah, again, Gianluca, Adele, Alberto, and Eugenio, I don't want to thank you for the time of these 45 minutes. I want to thank you for what you are doing over the years. I think that, I mean, personally shaped who am I and my appreciation in general to Italy and to Italian designs. But I think that in a certain way, with your little choices, decisions, and bravery, you shaped also our culture, and people, I mean, and you don't need to be a design lover or design appreciator, because in one way or another, what the choices that you were making as producers and as editors of design somehow influenced us in one way or another, even not in a direct way. I think that also, and sorry, I mean, you do have another hat, Francesca, because you are not just the filmmaker and the moderator and a very close friend in a certain way. You're also coming from the Molteni family, and it's true that you're not working inside the company, but in a certain way we are almost family members, and again, with lots of love and hate in between us. And I think that what maybe makes a little bit the difference, and maybe we can close it, because I think that it's important to say all the time when we spoke about the Italian design, so we speak about the individual pieces and the curatorial work and the bravery of the four of you in a certain way, and of course many other companies. You're not the only ones. You're probably maybe the best ones. But I think that also, you know, working with a company like Molteni or the conglomerate of Molteni, Dada, Unifor, and Citerio is a little bit different than what they're doing, because you're showing different type of abilities, and your abilities is not necessarily just the production of the individual piece, but a production of a full project. I mean, the capability of a company or a conglomerate like this to have how do you call it? Not a project.
Custom-made.
Yeah, custom-made contract division. I know that also Cassina has quite a large contract division, but the ability to give complete services in a certain way, which is still the made in Italy services in terms of qualities, but the ability to create a full ship cruise, hotels, I don't know, showrooms of major companies for in every, I mean, from the fashion to the jewelry, etc., etc. I think that also this is something that shows a lot of strength in what made in Italy is, and not just the table or not just the stainless steel glass. And I think that this is something that maybe just also
Yeah, for sure, for sure. This is very, again, it's very Italian. Many Italian brands do it without naming it, because the difference is that in that situation, your product is not your brand product anymore. It's a quality product that you put under the name of someone else, another brand, a jewelry brand, or a fashion brand, or a ship brand. And it's very, I have to say that it's part of the modestness that I learned in Brianza from the technicians and from the people that also there you know very well, to be able to satisfy the other's desires. That means the client's desires, but also the architect's desires, because many of these projects are coming, and we are learning a lot, we as companies, from architects and designers with the challenges that are putting in front of our, let's say, sureness and quietness and usually ordinary day job. It happened with, for example, with the Jean Nouvel for Unifor, with a very well-known product, Less. The Less table was done for the Fondation Cartier in Paris as part of the office let's say, furniture, not as a single product to sell. And it happened, it's always very funny, the story. Jean Nouvel came to Giussano, anzi to Turate, with a paper like that. It was an envelope, not a paper ugly like this, probably. And he said, you know, I would like to have a table like this because this building is transparent. So even the offices are open somehow. You can see them from the street in the front, you can see them from everywhere. So I would like to have this table, which is not a table, is nothing, is an envelope. They started developing the product. It took some time and some difficulties to resolve, to arrive to the final baby again. And it became a great success for Unifor, and then as part of the Molteni collection in the home collection with some changes in the dimensions, in the colors again. So this ability to use the synergies between the companies and again the challenges that the companies are confronting with is part of the, again, made in Italy and the Italian qualities, I think, because you never stop in front of an obstacle. You say, we can do it. How, we don't know, but we are sure that we can do it. And this is for architects and designers, I think, like a paradise. And for the technicians, it's like every day a big fight. For the entrepreneurs, for sure, it's also a big risk that they take every day. But it's what make us feel alive, the challenges.
Yeah, and also, I mean, again, you're starting to speak a little bit about the people that are not here and that are part of the whole system. I don't want to say them technicians, they are the lifesavers in a certain way. And I think that what connects all of them together is actually, and I know that it sounds like a cliche, but I truly, you know, feel it and I sense it for 12 years. It's the passion of all these people towards what they are doing. I mean, I think that, you know, I was giving a workshop with Alessi last month to my students at the Politecnico, and I received this support from Gloria, the right hand of Alberto in a certain way, and to hear her, okay, speaking about presenting the company and teaching the students in a certain way the values and how things are being built, not just in a boring historical way. For me, it is an inspiring thing to work with the R&D of Magis, these guys that are coming also from the Politecnico, but has also a very vast knowledge technically. Is, again, it's part of the romance in a certain way, and to understand that they're not there because they're receiving their monthly salary. They're there because they want to be there. And I think that that's what links all these 4 people on the screen and the hundreds and thousands of people behind the screen that we cannot see right now, is the passion to what they're doing.
Because they don't live in Tel Aviv, otherwise they would have something better to do. Because Brianza, I mean, it's just a ugly place to live, and it's nothing. It's capannoni, which are workshops.
È bellissima la Brianza, è bellissima.
No, in the past.
I love it. Well, but Ron, I think this. Can I hijack the? I have a little secret. Nobody knows. Adele has never seen it, I think. Can you go back to your presentation as an example of, it's more lighthearted, it's nothing too important. But when you presented this, Fiammetta, the screenshots with Ron's presentation, there was a fauteuil petit confort from Le Corbusier.
RG2,
Can you show it a second? Yeah, but nobody knows the story, right?
Nobody knows the story because I'm respecting you, but now that you left Cassina, so no one can fire you.
An outing. Years have passed. Fiammetta se la riesce a proiettare.
Diciamo che siamo
difficile.
al limite della tecnologia in questo momento, anche perché ci stanno per chiudere dentro. So you are so interesting that they are going to close out inside this beautiful building.
Because this is, you know, it encapsulates what, in a very, I mean, non-important way, I think, but the specialty that the relationships are behind the shape of the things that happen. But so if you're able to show it, I also want to see Adele's face when she sees it. Is it possible?
I'm trying.
No. They are looking for it. They are looking for it.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Yeah, so I'm sorry to keep you waiting. Well, okay, I will tell you the story. So we were trying to make a project together, and it wasn't happening yet. And then Ron said, "Gianluca, I'm doing an exhibition. You have to do something for me." I said, "What are you talking about?" "You have to do a piece of land art with a Le Corbusier sofa." So what are you talking about? It will never get approved. So he shows me the picture, and I go, "Oh my God, this is."
Can you see the pictures now?
No.
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 Yeah. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
It's the Ron Gilad one, yeah.
Di Ron.
Sì, di Ron? Okay.
No, l'ultimo.
Sorry.
Le ultime.
I know.
Okay, so this is what we did, okay? This was done illegally. So nobody approved this. Like it's the only
by
piece
Cassina.
Jeff Koons.
And by
Jeff Koons meets Ron Gilad at the Tel Aviv Design Museum. Where was it shown? Hold on, no.
No. Tel Aviv Museum of Art.
Okay.
So everything is possible in the art.
It's the only piece. It's a Cassina original, not unauthorized special edition for Ron. Which I don't know where it is now. I don't know what value it has, but this is for the friendship and for the listening. This is what we did for Ron. You know, so
risking your own position.
I wasn't, of course, I'm not the owner. I was just the manager. You know, so but it's something that had to be done. So this is what actually happens. So we do products, we do contract business, but we also do special things to progress what the designer needs to do, because we understand what he wants to do and we appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I think we are very sorry because it was starting to be very interesting.
Yes. Signor Perazza, sì.
Ron.
Yes.
Can I ask you? Can I put you a question?
Please.
Yeah. I know the reason why you like Magis, and you know the reason why Magis like Ron Gilad?
No,
No.
no.
No. There is, because Ron Gilad, in my opinion, is unique. Is not a real industrial designer, and that is very positive in my opinion. A mix of 80% artist and 20% designer. This is a fantastic combination.
Grazie. Thank you so much.
Be sure, Ron, that in a couple of years we develop something very, very strong products, and you give come si dice, you give
big contribution.
A big contribution to the design history of Magis. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Signor Perazza.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you,
Just
Alberto.
one short thing, Francesca. No, okay.
Ci stanno chiudendo dentro, ma I'm happy to...
Okay, no, I
Finché
just
non
wanted
vediamo
to
la chiave.
reassure Gianluca and Ron that Adele gave her blessing to the... That's it.
Grazie. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much to be with us.
Thank you very much, guys.
Grazie mille per il vostro
Ron.
tempo e per
Grazie.
tutto quello che ci avete insegnato. תודה רבה לכולם. ותודה רבה לליבלינג האוס. אני מקווה שנהיה עוד פגישות ביחד עם הקול של התרבות איטלקית. Grazie ancora, Francesca, Ron, תודה רבה. Grazie mille. תודה רבה לכולם. ביי. ביי.
Indeed, everyone. Ciao, ciao.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Arrivederci.
Arrivederci, arrivederci.
To you, that I'm addicted to you. Oh, baby, come back to me. Please, darling, can't you see that I'm addicted to you? That I'm addicted to you. Talking